You said when I was born I could do anything. I could see you were torn right out of heaven, and I would be selfish if I didn't dedicate everything, 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 everything. I knew when I was born I would do anything to let you see heaven inside your feathered wings. They disappeared with the years, and that made you my everything, 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 everything. I seen it all through the walls of an incubator. Back then, what is now, what it later later. In the moment that changed my sister with a brother now. Make it never doubt what you think she made of. The birth of my father's legacy therapy. Before I put ink to paper. Big-headed when she carried him, that cesarean must have saved Mama knew Baba grew out of Smooth's biggest crater. Waiter, the first time I ever flew when the water broke. Second time from my eyes when first time I ever rode on an awkward note. On the day I saw my brother fly.
أهلا بكم في برنامج ليش هيب هوب. I will ask, yes, thank you محمد, okay. أعزائي المستمعين أهلا بكم في برنامج ليش هيب هوب. معاكم Big Hass. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight is going to be very exciting. I have two amazing guests with me in the studio. One of them is in the building. The one and only, the amazing comic book artist named Ashraf Ghori from India. Make some noise for my main man, Ashraf Ghori, man.
Man, so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
I want you to come closer to the... Yes.
All right.
Perfect. Ashraf Ghori. Can I ask Muhammad if you can lower just the bid a little bit? Muhammad, إذا توطي صوت الموسيقى شوي أكون شاكر ليك. Okay. Ashraf Ghori. First of all, it's a huge honor to meet you. For real, huge honor to meet you. I'm a big fan ever since my main man Narcy, Yasin Salman started talking about you and it just, looked up your work and I fell in love with it, man. You're this you're not only a comic book artist, you're a filmmaker, you're most importantly you're a good human being too.
Oh, man, really appreciate it. Finally, this has been long overdue.
It is.
The pleasure is entirely mine.
It is. We'll get into it, straight into it. Basically, like I said, you're this comic book artist, but I want to know what actually, how did this amazing talent, what inspired you to become like that? And you're based in Dubai now for quite some time, right? So tell us about your upbringing. So, like, how did you get inspired? And, tell us about this whole comic book artist thing.
Oh, yeah. Dubai's been my home right from when I was, 2 years old.
Okay.
So, I'm from India, but I've always been, this has been my home. I brought up over here.
Okay.
And my first experiences with art have to do with comic books. So I just happened to stumble across some of those old Daredevils and Captain Americas, and it's just took its I just took so much inspiration from that, and I just started developing my artwork based on that subliminal inspiration, and practicing. I just got seriously into it, and I got into trouble as well in school for it.
Wow. Why?
Well, because in those days, drawing comics was it's gonna ruin your life because you're gonna.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're having some technical difficulties, but it's cool. Okay. Ashraf Ghori. I mean, how long you been doing this?
In a professional sense, I was doing illustrations.
Okay.
Back from my high school days.
Okay.
I was about 12 or 13. And
12 or 13 years old?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I used to go to school, and then after school, I used to do illustrations for Police Times. And they used to bring out this magazine called Young Times, and it reached everywhere. I'm sure even Saudi and all over.
Young Times, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of young timers out there. I'm sure they're all grown up, and, they still, remember it really fondly. There was a long association that I had with that magazine,
nice.
About 10 years or so.
When we think comic books, the first thing that comes to our mind is superheroes, and stuff like that. The Spider-Man and the Batmans. Well, for you, who's your favorite?
I've always had a softer spot for the Marvel characters.
Okay.
So some of the darker characters, I love the tone of the new Batman and Superman movie, for example.
Yes,
I'm one of the few ones who like it. So
you're into that. Yeah. Have you seen the film?
I did. Yeah,
You like
I was
it?
there at the premiere. Yeah, it was good. It was good. There were some things which could have been done better. I don't know if I can, mention those
Spoil
just
it.
yet.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna mention Lex Luthor. Could have been done better.
That's it.
That's it.
Man, Ashraf Ghori, I personally, like I said, got to know you through the homie Narcy. How did you and the Narcicyst meet? How did that happen?
Okay, I can tell you exactly when. In 2009,
Okay.
we were at the feature at the same film festival. Narcy came out with his the Fatwa
the
short
Fatwa
film
video.
video,
Yeah.
and that was and he was working on City of Life at the time. It was about to launch, or a year before that is when I met.
Correct.
And City of Life was still being worked on, and I was associated with City of Life as well. I was
With,
doing
Ali Mustafa.
I was doing the design. So I worked a little bit on the poster design, on the DVD cover design,
Yeah, right.
on the animation that goes inside the DVD.
Yeah.
And through my company, we did a little bit of social media push as well for it.
Mashallah.
So I was like in association with.
And that's
with
how he
Oscar.
met you initially.
Yeah, and that's how he came to know about me, I guess. And then he kept that as, kept it on the shelf till this project came about, and he got in touch with me. I was like, hey man, I think you're the right guy who can handle this.
Yeah, the project we're talking about is it's a comic book that Narcy will be releasing hopefully soon, and it's all done by you. And actually colored by I'm not sure. You know who else is working on this? Names I forgot.
Yeah, it's essentially a collaboration between Narcy and me. So we have Narcy who's doing the story writing, and that's overall it's his brainchild.
Yes.
And I come in as a co-creator of sorts, where I'm doing all the art chores, and so it's mainly our collaboration.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, hit us up on Twitter, big_Hus, and Ashraf Ghori. I think your Twitter name is what? It's Ashraf Ghori. ASHRAFGHORI. We're gonna go for a track right now. محمد إذا ممكن نلعب places to go. And then we'll be right back with Ashraf Ghori. خليكم معنا.
ليش هيب هوب مع حسان.
طيب عبد الرحمن إذا ممكن نخفف صوت الموسيقى شوي. Okay. أعزائي المستمعين, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Okay. Hello? Are we? Okay. We're back on Laish Hip Hop. With us is the amazing, talented artist Ashraf Ghori. Ashraf, tell us about you've been part of Comic-Con. I think last year only, or before that even.
I've been a part of Comic-Con from the very first one.
Okay. How was the experience being part of it?
It's great. I think I need to step back and even see it how things were before Comic-Con as well.
Okay.
Back in the early 90s, I used to be part of the Comic-Cons in the US. I used to stay there during the duration of my studies.
Okay.
And I was featured a lot at Comic-Cons over there in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And then there was like a huge gap where I always used to think why couldn't something like that happen over here? And I kind of knew the answer because that subculture, the genre, there was no real demand for it. But then after Comic-Con was launched, I've seen just a whole perspective shift about hobbies and collectibles and comics, and so many people came out. Amazing artists and serious collectors and people of that nature that you wouldn't have heard of otherwise. So that's I think that's the most profound thing that happened with the Comic-Con and with my involvement, like right from the day when I was.
Do you think it opens as well opportunities for artists like to be discovered as well more, like especially the up and coming artists?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that happening. There's been a lot of independent publishings going on right now because in this region doesn't really have a Marvel or a DC backing up artists or of that nature. So a lot of work that is published over here, it's or distributed over here, is actually created and published abroad, and the distribution is done over here. So I think only now people are beginning to realize that there is talent there that is possible over here.
Yeah.
But I think it's still early. Because there needs to be a proper distribution and a big brother to help out the up and coming artists and the artists themselves.
Who was
They
your
need to grow
inspiration?
up.
Like growing up in terms of did someone's work inspire you, or?
Oh yeah. I have some serious inspirations in art, and especially some of the fantasy, sci-fi artworks that were published. I think one of the earliest inspirations I've had was Simon Bisley.
Okay.
Crazy hip hop, rock and roll, crazy. My work is sort of like a failed, watered down version of what this guy used to produce.
Wow.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So it's grown. I've had other comic inspirations as well. Like there's Jim Lee, there's Barry Windsor Smith, and so these guys have sort of subliminally helped out, influenced.
You just told me that you're going to be part of this World Art Dubai 2016. Tell us about that. Like, this is something, World Art Dubai 2016. You're going to have workshops. You're going to have, it's happening from 6th to 9th of April.
Yeah.
Right? And, so what can you tell us about that? What were you going to do there?
Okay. Back in December, I partnered or associated with Microsoft.
Yes.
Microsoft Gulf.
Yeah.
And I was using or promoting the Surface tablet along with Windows 10.
Beautiful.
And I was sort of the face of that.
Let me just say that people have to check that out on YouTube, or it's on Microsoft Facebook page.
Yeah. Oh, it's there on my page as well.
Beautifully done.
Facebook, Ashraf Ghori. So I've started that association with them, and it was like a pretty successful campaign. They got a lot of mileage and hits out of that, so which I'm glad. And this is sort of a spin-off from there. So they're one of the main sponsors for the event.
Nice. And
they want to feature me in giving art workshops as well as talks. And some of the topics that I'm going to be covering over the period of 3 days will be about one is like digital art techniques. So I'm actually going to be doing live drawings and painting. Wow. and talking through the whole process of concept to completion. And then there's talking about going from traditional art transitioning to digital art. So there's a lot of people that are kind of like, not so sure about, jumping to digital art just yet. So I'm going to kind of try and make it easier for them. And then there's a general talk about growing out of your comfort zone. Yes. And doing something that you're not used to.
Man, this sounds good. It's something very, much respect to you always, Ashraf. I think it's really cool. We're gonna go for a short break. We're gonna play a track, and then come back to you, Ashraf Ghori, talk more about, about other things, hopefully. And I want to talk to you about, who do you find right now up and coming, and what is the support that we can do for these up and coming artists? And I think there's a lot in the Arab world especially, and if you have any future things of doing maybe a comic book and something different for you as Ashraf. Alright, حنرجع معاكم أعزائي المستمعين، خليكم معنا وعلى أثير ميكس اف ام.
Laish hip hop, Laish hip hop, Laish hip hop, with big highs. Big highs. Big highs.
الآن ليش هيب هوب مع حسان.
ليش هيب هوب مع حسان.
اوكي اعزائي المستمعين، مستمرين معاكم في برنامج ليش هيب هوب. عبد الرحمن، بس ابغاك تسكر الميكروفون عندك عشان ما اسمع صوتي. Anyway, okay. Ashraf Ghori. We're sorry, we're just having some technical difficulties. But anyway, Ashraf, I want you to tell us more about your work is I mean, when anybody looks at it, it's very unique. You know, it's very, very cool. You've done so much work, so much amazing stuff, in my opinion. But what is the kind of support you've been getting? Like, you as a guy who's living in Dubai over here, are you getting that enough support, or you're just depending on yourself and the people who like your work, and period?
Okay, I think that's a multifaceted kind of a question. So on one angle, there's a whole infrastructure that's really up in place, which helps out so much. Especially like, and I started off my company in 2007.
What's it called?
It's called Expanse CGI.
Okay.
And we're into sort of digital creative development, that sort of creative content development. And it's just there's a whole lot of things now, because I've seen Dubai back from when.
Yeah. And
there are things now which really help facilitate business, work, exposure. So there is a whole lot of indirect marketing that's done.
Okay.
So there are avenues and channels now for actually getting the exposure out there. Whereas a direct sort of a help, I do get sort of occasional, like I said, certain brands want to back me up at times.
Okay.
There's like when I came out with my short film called Zero Error a few years ago.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of support I got in terms of companies wanting to
you get commissioned for work, obviously, right? This is, I mean, part of like when the kind of work that you do when you talk about comic book. This is. Is this a culture? I know this is definitely a culture that is growing in the Middle East, and especially cities like Dubai and stuff like that, and Saudi Arabia. They love their comic books, of course. I mean, what do you have in mind for future Ashraf Ghori? What is it that you're pushing for? Okay,
there's actually 3 things which I do, which define my workflow. On one hand, I run my digital creative agency, Expanse.
Okay.
That's there as a day job.
Okay.
And then I have my personal projects, which fall under the comic category. Okay. So this is not
like, for example, the Narcy one. It's a project under that.
Yeah. And then I am. I've had this sort of a long-standing goal or an aim to use my work for the greater good. So this year I'm actually getting the chance to do that.
Mashallah.
And if you might have heard of Bayina Institute, and they're based in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. How do you spell that? Bayina is Bayina.
Bayy.
Yeah.
INA.
Okay.
H.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's and I got in touch with its CEO and founder, Ustad Noman Ali Khan.
All right.
And I expressed interest in using my work.
This guy?
Yes, that him.
What?
And
wait, this guy, I've been following his stuff on YouTube.
Isn't he amazing?
The way he speaks about Quran, like
beautiful.
Beautiful. There is a story that he has. He speaks about a guy who was, he wasn't Muslim and he converted to Islam. It's a very famous story. Man, I'll figure it out. But yeah, but he's such a great speaker.
He's amazing.
And yeah.
And he is the CEO and founder of Bayina.
Bayina. Okay.
I got in touch with him. So, just discussing on how I can use my talents to help out with his work.
And what is happening?
And he immediately sort of called back, and we had this really long conversation.
Nice.
And we were discussing on how we could sort of collaborate or associate. And before this was happening in December.
Okay.
And today, alhamdulillah, I am part of the Bayina team.
MashaAllah.
As consultant, as a senior digital artist, and I'm helping them produce a lot of, or illustrate a lot of their lectures. Yeah, so it is kind of a dream come true in a way.
Talking to you is really cool. Like I'm reading here, it says the Quran is the most beautiful gift humanity has ever received. For you, what does the role of Islam play in your art? Like, of course you're a Muslim, and what is that? How can you actually, people might ask, how can you use the art of comic book or the art of creativity to enhance and not even enhance, to do greater good, you know?
Yeah,
How?
this has been, like I said, one of my long-standing goals. I did a lot of work with Dubai tourism.
Yeah.
If any of you guys have visited the Sheikh Ubaid House or the cultural, the heritage village at Shindaga, there's a whole area that's dedicated to displaying cultural Islamic information and animation. So that was all, alhamdulillah, produced by me.
MashaAllah.
And that was ongoing from about 10 years almost now.
Wow.
So I've always had this inclination to actually use my work for the greater good, like you said, you know.
Man, this Bayina News, really, because I'm a big fan of his. Like, it's been a while, you know, I've been always watching his, he's really cool. And, ladies and gentlemen, with us is the amazing, Ashraf Ghori. I really, I mean, advise you to follow his work. He's really cool. Your website is ashrafghori.com. Yeah. We're going to go for a short break and finish up with the one and only Ashraf Ghori. And then we have with us an amazing Emirati poet, Afra Atiq is in the building, and we're going to be talking to her about all sort of things, believe me. And yes, hit us up on Twitter, @big_house, #MixFM and Laish Hip Hop. خليكم معنا.
ليش هيب هوب مع حسان.
The loveliest girl, all Hollywood.
Like I said, it's really cool having you on the show, man. Like you said off air, our connection is, you know, Narcy and hip hop, and he's releasing this comic book very soon. Tell us about this comic book. What is? I mean, maybe you can give us a few, you know, hints or spoilers before anybody, but. Narcy is a homie of mine. Narcy is an incredible artist. He's not only a hip-hop dude, he's just like, he wants to complete everything. He's into art, he's into the medium, he's into the videos, he's into creativity, and now he's doing this comic book thing. Tell us more about what
Sure.
you know, it's World War III, I guess. Right? Yeah.
So World War III is the name of the comic, and it's coincides with the release of his album World War III Now.
Yes.
So the story is based in the not too distant future.
Okay.
About 2030, 35, where the powers that be now no longer exist.
Nice.
Because a group of people decide to take power in their own hands.
Yeah.
And
maybe I would like to show that we were videotaping this. Shout out to Daniel and Mika. Maybe we can show like a little bit. So the powers that may be no longer exist
because of this group.
The power of the people.
Yeah, the people power group take the power in their own hands.
Okay.
And they're sort of inspired by this PhD professor called Salman Manasir. Salman Manasir.
Which is Narcy. No? Salman Manasir, yeah, okay.
Manasir. Which is based on Narcy, because even the name Yasin al-Salman, that's the name as well. But Salman Manasir is the sort of subconsciously he's been inspiring this group from years.
Yeah.
And he ends up he gets caught up in this whole debacle with the new group that's going in power.
Wow.
And another interesting thing to note over here is all the characters that are sort of portrayed in the comic are actually based on real characters.
Yeah, I mean, Omar Effendim is there, El Cid is there, Khadil Bey.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice about Narcy, and he has, and you're part of it too, like, you know, are you in that?
He did ask me to throw myself in there. I haven't put one of my cameo just yet. Maybe in the future one.
Yeah, but this is it's really cool. Do you have any idea when is it going to be released? This comic book, like, does he talk to you about it?
It's almost done with the production. It took its time because we both were quite busy in the last year, and we decided to release it this year along with the re-release of his album.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Narcy do the honors of announcing the date.
Okay.
But it's coming very soon.
I'm looking forward to it. And one final question about that: why is this important for hip hop? Why is it important for Narcy to do a comic book? Like why I mean, for the people, I know why, but for you, why is it?
I think Narcy is one of those true artists. I mean, he's not really bothered about commercial gains. He's just out there to create some really amazing art. In many different formats. And this was one of his, you know, it's a very easily accessible way of telling a story without getting into whatever film production and, you know, all those hassles. Or, you know, even music, for example, is still vague. You know?
True. And I think Narcy, I heard Narcy say that again. I mean, he's using you again. Like, so you're part of, he's not using someone who's someone else. You are part of his family. You're part of this medium family. You're part of he already knows you. And this is how he pushes everybody.
It's true.
And I think, shout out to Narcy, of course. Shout out to you, man. Like I said, it's been a huge honor to have you on the air. Ashraf Ghori, an amazing artist, amazing human being. Any last words you'd like to say on the show, please go ahead.
Man, just keep doing the good stuff. Be inspired. Always try to look out, seek the truth. Don't settle for anything less.
Man.
And say alhamdulillah for all we have.
Of course, man, of course, man.
We're all blessed.
Ashraf Ghori, big up to you, man. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Assalamu alaikum.
حبيبي عليكم السلام. أشرف غوري فنان رائع. تابعوا على صفحاته اللي هي يعني سهلة جدا. أشرف غوري ASHRAFGHORI عفوا. إن شاء الله هذا اللي حيطلع فيديو. We're going to put this on video very soon. Shout out to Daniel and Mika, right? Got the name right. And yes, stay tuned. We have with us the amazing poet, like I said, Afra Atiq is with us. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, خليكم معنا وعلى أثير ميكس FM.
ليش هيب